In today's video, we're going to take a look at this receiver that my beautiful wife gave me for Christmas. It's a little handheld AM broadcast, FM stereo broadcast, and shortwave receiver that you can carry around in your pocket. This is the CountyComm GP-5 SSB. Now the SSB gives you a little bit of a clue what makes this radio a little bit special. In the shortwave frequency bands, it will also receive upper and lower sideband. And this, of course, is of great interest to me, being a ham and doing a lot of HF single sideband listening. Now, this Grundig G6 Aviator I have here will also do single sideband reception in the shortwave bands, but its single sideband performance really doesn't hold a candle to what this little GP5 can do. So I'm really impressed with that. So we'll take a look at some of the controls and listen around a little bit with the radio so you can get a feel for what it's all about. Just to get a feel for the size of this radio, it really is remarkably small. I just have a couple of other radios here you can kind of hold side by side for comparison. Here's a typical older, VHF, UHF scanning receiver. You can see it looks positively huge next to this GP5. Here's a couple of typical handheld amateur radios. This little Kenwood THF6 fits in the palm of your hand, and this GP5 really isn't much bigger. It's taller, but it is thinner and lighter than even this little Kenwood THF6A. Now, in the package, of course, comes the user manual, a nice padded case with a belt loop on the back, a pair of stereo headphones, a long wire antenna that can be clipped onto the telescoping antenna, and then use this to clip it up onto a curtain rod or something like that, or a branch for better listening on the shortwave bands. And then also this little ferrite bar antenna is for more high sensitivity reception on the medium wave bands, and that plugs right into the top of the radio. Now, the radio operates on 3 AA batteries that fit right behind this door here. And from what I read, will give you better than 220 hours of usable life with just 3 AA batteries. So let's take a look at some of the controls and see how to operate this radio. Here for medium wave AM broadcast reception, there is a built-in ferrite bar in addition to that high sensitivity antenna that can plug in the top. And then for shortwave and FM broadcast, there is a telescoping antenna that's about 18 inches or about 45 centimeters long. The display can show a lot of things, including time, an alarm, temperature. It's a little warm because it's been held in my hand here, as well as frequencies in memory and signal strength and things like that, and we'll see that as we go on. If we turn the radio on here, let's see, we're in the AM broadcast band here, and we see at 660 AM. That's a sport radio station here where I live in New Jersey. And you can see the display is also showing signal strength in dB microvolts, as well as a received signal to noise ratio. By hitting the display button, we can have it toggle through showing the alarm, showing the temperature, showing the time, and then back to the signal strength and signal to noise ratio display. There are a number of ways of tuning the radio. There are buttons here to select the medium wave broadcast, the FM broadcast band, or the shortwave bands. Now, there are 14 shortwave bands that we can receive, and by cycling through these buttons we can see we can go through the various bands. So here's the 49 meter band, 41, 31, 25, etc. We can go through all 14 shortwave bands that can be received. And also, if you select upper and lower sideband, it will then allow you to cycle through the 10 HF ham radio bands that the radio can receive. So we can see the band indicator up here is the 17 meter band, 15, 12, etc. Now, once you've selected a band to listen to, we can use the tuning knob to tune up or down in that band. The tuning knob has kind of a 2-rate thing. As we scroll through here, you can see I'm tuning at about 5 kilohertz steps. But if I slow down, now I can see it jump down to a 1 kilohertz step. So So it kind of detects when you're kind of scrolling quickly through, and it'll go in 5K steps, and then when you take these smaller steps, you can actually just go back and more fine-tune a station. So, even though some of the bands that you're tuning through might be quite wide in terms of, all of the frequency range they cover, this variable rate tuning can help you to get through them a little bit more quickly. Now, even with that variable tuning step, sometimes it could take a long time to scroll through stations, particularly on the shortwave bands. So there's an interesting mode called the easy tuning mode, and I'm going to demonstrate this on the medium wave AM broadcast band. Now, the easy tuning mode is kind of like a set of temporary memories, and we'll demonstrate this. If I push and hold the ETM button, you can see the radio is tuning through the entire AM broadcast band here in the US. And what it's doing is looking for stations. And when it finds stations, it puts them into the easy tuning mode memory. And then once it finishes scanning through those, when you use the tuning knob, it'll only go through those stations that are in ETM memory. So there's one at 570, and there's another one at 610. 660, etc. You can see it's now just tuning through just those stations that it has in that easy tuning mode memory. And this is really handy because it will only kind of put in memory those stations that you can hear, and it's really handy for shortwave. When you do the easy tuning mode in the shortwave band, it takes just under 4 minutes from what I found to go from 1.7 megahertz up to 30 megahertz and storing all of those stations that it hears. I think it's got 250 memories for shortwave and then 100 memories for the broadcast bands in this easy tuning mode. And now, of course, there are also regular memory locations that you can store stations into. I think there's a grand total of about 550 kind of permanent memory locations that you can also use. So there's a number of ways of tuning the radio to get to the stations you want to hear quickly. Now, the audio quality I thought is pretty good, especially considering it's such a small speaker. I'll just tune quickly around through some of the AM broadcast here.
All three attractive with enough pieces in place. Could and defeat your hunger. Just look neighborhood in the cops pro.
And so let's listen to some of the other bands here as well. Let's put on the FM broadcast band. Yes, I said sound quality is really not that bad at all. Actually, I put this in the easy tuning mode so that it'll only go through my tuned stations.
Latest episodes of the top 100 shows. Buy any new Hyundai in stock. Plus.
So again, audio quality is quite good. So I've clipped on this alligator clip. You might notice that here. That's going to my outdoor antenna just to enhance some of the reception here for shortwave. So let's take a listen to that next. Alright, so let's select shortwave here and turn the volume up. It's pretty clear AM reception on the shortwave band here. Let's listen to some other stations.
Worshiping somebody, our role model.
And you can see the easy tuning mode is making it easy just to tune to the stations that you can hear. Given that the shortwave bands are spread out across from around 2 megahertz up to 30 megahertz, it would take quite a while to tune through manually. So that easy tuning mode, even though it takes about 4 minutes to scan through to get all of the stations into memory, really makes it easy to find those stations to go listen to. Of course, being a ham radio operator, single sideband reception on HF was very interesting to me. So let's take a listen for that. So let's go down to, there's a 40 meter band. In the AM mode, is about what single sideband sounds like. But if we touch the single sideband button, it first starts off, there's lower sideband. So pretty good. Sounds like we're slightly off in frequency. So this radio also includes a BFO, or beat frequency oscillator. So right now we can see we're on lower sideband, and the BFO is offset is set to 0. So if we want to tune in these stations a little clearer, we just enable the VFO and tune it in a little bit better.
KT1NG. I'll be clear and standing by and Oscar November 6th, Zulu Kilo. Oscar November 6th, Zulu Kilo, calling KT-15.
Well, we just tuned up to the 17-meter band, and you were listening to a station out of Belgium, Oscar November 6 Zulu Kilo, calling CQ, and being heard quite well here in the eastern United States and the state of New Jersey. I hope you enjoyed this little mini review and demo of this CountyComm GP-5 SSB handheld shortwave AM and FM stereo receiver with single sideband operation. I'll throw a couple of links in the video description for where you could find this radio, as well as where you can find some reviews that folks have written about this radio already. Anyway, thanks again for watching.